Watch. If I take his limb like this, I place one hand here and one hand like this, and I do this, what am I stretching?
Tricep.
Okay. I'm forcing this to go in which direction? A flexion direction. What am I stretching? Does that make sense?
Yes,
Now, valgus stress test. I'm going to take the limb. I'm going to pull which way? Not here. This one here. Watch. Valgus stress. What am I actually stressing? The medial side. If I do this motion like this, what am I stressing? The lateral side. So, if I did something that looked like this, okay, I'm stressing the elbow into flexion, extension, I am stressing the flexors. In this particular case here, one of the other things that we're basically checking for is a checking ligament. And that checking ligament would be the annular ligament. This is a test for lateral epicondylitis. This is what we're going to do. Have the patient bring their elbow to their side, and you're going to have them extend their wrist. Now, before we do that, so that we know exactly where we're located, have them go into anatomical position, place your thumb on the lateral epicondyle, place your index finger on the medial epicondyle. Now have them bend it, have them rotate it, now have them extend their wrist. Now what I want you to do is you're going to have your patient maintain wrist extension while you try to force it into flexion. Okay, now what muscle group is she working here? Extensions. Where do they attach? Lateral epicondyle. So if she has lateral epicondylitis, would this be painful? You bet. And where would she feel it? Under your thumb. That's what we started off with the lateral epicondyle. This, okay, I do this. And now I do this. What do you think this is called? Reverse causes. What muscles are we working here? Flexors. Where do the flexors attach? Medial epicondyle. What you're going to do is this. Patient is seated. Have them put this in their hand, straight out, extend the wrist. Now you're going to ask the patient to squeeze as hard as they can. Okay, I put it down. That's okay. Now what happens is, folks, the silver arrow on here kind of follows along with the black arrow. When the black arrow pressure is gone, the silver arrow stays to where the highest level was that you did with the black arrow. Does that make sense? So now I take a note. She's got 50, and 40, and 60. Bring it back out again. Don't squeeze yet. It's extend. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to try to take some of the tension off of the epicondyle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go about an inch below the epicondyle. Now note, I'm not squeezing A to P this way. I'm squeezing medial to lateral. Medial to lateral. Now I ask the patient to squeeze again. Relax. Now if you take a look at where your number is, take a look at the number. Where are you? About 30. Not lower than 40, right? Okay. The reason is that what I did was I shortened the muscle before I made it to the origin. Now, this is the basis for any of you who've ever played tennis. If you've ever seen people that wear straps and go about an inch below the forearm, the elbow, what it does is it takes some of the stresses off the tendons, and it's known as a tenosynovial brace. Does that make sense? Any question about that test?
So that's just.
So what you're going to do, you're going to face your patient like this. So do your arm out. Two of those. Rotate your wrist. Point. Extend. Get up. All the way. Keep going. Okay. And when they do this, they're going to start to feel the pull in their forearm. And it's going to be where? It's going to hurt. So this is called Mills test. Elbow flexion test. Patient seated, arm out in front. Have the patient flex their elbow and flex their wrist. And you want them to stay in this for about 5 minutes. Now, what we're doing here, folks, is a couple of things. What the test is designed for, first of all, who's doing the test?
They are.
The patient. So in this position here, what are we doing to the ulnar nerve? And where's it being stretched? Right here. This is the point where it's being bent. So the patient is going to feel numbness, tingling. Where are they going to notice it? From the point of irritation, which would be the elbow, down the medial side of the forearm into which digits? 4 and 5. Does that make sense? Now, guess what, folks? I think just about everybody here, if you had to stay in this position for 5 minutes, would feel some type of tingling. The person that truly has a problem with their ulnar nerve, they're going to feel it at a much quicker pace. And if somebody, let's say at a minute, goes, man, doc, my finger is really starting to get numb, don't say, stay there, you got 4 minutes left. Test would be over at that point. That makes sense. Now, if I said to you, pronation and supination stress tests. If you start with the wrists in this position, like this, and I'm going to grab above the elbow and above the wrist. If I do this, I'm going into which direction? So this would be a pronation what? Stress test. If I go in this direction, what am I doing? Supination stress test. The ability to pronate and supinate depends upon an intact radial head. So if I have radial head dysfunction, this would be difficult, if not painful, to do. So the way that we're going to do this is you're going to grab hold of the patient's arm like this. Place your hand like this. I'm supporting the leg. Here is the cubital tunnel, right here. You're going to take your hammer, and if you're good at it, you can use the point, and you're going to strike. No? Good for you. Good. Here's somebody who obviously has a rather deep cubital tunnel, and the nerve very rarely, if ever, gets irritated. Have you ever banged your elbow and gotten that shooting pain? Not really. Okay? Now, I'm the total opposite. I must have a very, very narrow cubital tunnel because my nerve is so easily irritated. Just doing this, I get it down my finger on both sides.